and wait for Mummy, please. Such a shame. Rosie blinked behind her sunglasses, the knot in her chest tightening. Thank you. It was a huge shock. It must have been. I guess that's why you're here. I needed to come back for a week or two. I've already been to the funeral home in Exeter. There's a lot to be sorted out. I can imagine. Your mum's death was a shock to all of us, coming out of the blue like that. And it doesn't seem right that her home is empty now. It looks kind of sad. For the first time since arriving in the village, Rosie allowed herself to glance up at Driftwood House. Her family home, perched high on the cliffs above Heaven's Cove, did look rather lonely with its blank windows reflecting the steely sky. She looked away quickly. Crying in front of someone from school wouldn't do. News of her distress would spread around the village like wildfire, and then a stream of people would come to the house, offering condolences and veiled disapproval that she had, to all intents and purposes, abandoned her mother. Why hadn't she come back to Heaven's Cove last month when she'd had a few days off work? Instead, she'd spent the time decorating her apartment and drinking sangria in the sunshine with friends. Rosie pushed her fingernails into the palm of her hand, willing herself to stay in control for a while longer. It's really sad, she agreed, unsure if she was referring to her mother's death or the fact that the house now stood alone and empty. Nessa nodded and ruffled Lily's hair. The girl had given up waiting and wobbled back along the narrow pavement. So will you be staying in Heaven's Cove for long? I certainly hope not. The words were out before Rosie could stop them, and Nessa's face fell. I dare say Devon is a bit boring after all your travels. Which amazing place are you living in at the moment, then? I've been in Andalusia for the last 18 months in southern Spain. Yes, I know where Andalusia is, replied Nessa, with an almost imperceptible eye roll. What do you do there, then, in exotic, faraway Andalusia? It was hard to tell if she was being sarcastic or was truly interested in her life. This and that, Rosie shrugged, keen to bring the conversation to a close. I'm working part-time in a B&B and the rest of the time for a property company, mostly flogging apartments with sea views. That sounds wonderful. Rosie nodded, though showing hot, sweaty people around tiny flats was less wonderful than Nessa seemed to imagine. Especially when the promised sea view turned out to involve leaning over the side of a balcony on tiptoe to catch a glimpse of the sparkling ocean. She'd grown used to potential buyers' excitement turning to disappointment, but it made her feel uncomfortable nonetheless. Nessa was still staring at her. What are you up to these days? Asked Rosie, taking off her sunglasses and wiping spots of rain from the lenses. Oh, nothing exciting. I'm working part-time in Shelley's hardware store. I'm bringing up this little one, of course. She smiled down at Lily before pulling a tissue from her pocket and scrubbing at the dark stain around the child's mouth. Birthday chocolate. She doesn't usually eat sweets. I'm not the kind of mother who fills her kids full of sugar to shut them up, in spite of what some people think. Single parents get a bad press, especially round here where everyone has an opinion. Nessa's cheeks flushed. Sorry, I don't mean to get on my soapbox, but this place does my head in sometimes. Rosie smiled, her facial expressions on autopilot. I know what you mean, but I'm sure you're doing a brilliant job. I admire anyone who's bringing up kids. Really? When Nessa grinned, the crease between her eyebrows disappeared. Really? How old is your daughter? She was 4 2 days ago. Is she your only one? Yeah, thank goodness. One's quite enough for me. When Rosie nodded, 2 rung out for more small talk. Nessa glanced at her watch. Look, I'd better be getting on, but it was good to see you again. And I am sorry about your mum. I know what it's like. A vague memory surfaced in Rosie's mind, of Nessa's mother passing away years ago after an illness. She'd wondered at the time if Nessa was truanting from school to look after her, and now both of them were motherless. Nothing feels real at the moment. I keep thinking it's a mistake, a really horrible mistake, and I haven't even cried yet. Is that wrong? Rosie hadn't meant to blurt that out, but Nessa seemed unfazed. Nah, I reckon that's totally normal. It's the shock of it all.